Good afternoon. We are live, and I've got Simon, the YouTube guy, with me today. But first of all, we're going to play a little song. Is it getting better? Or do you feel the same? Or will it make it easier on you now? If you got someone to blame, you say one love, one life, when it's one need in the night. One love, we get to share it. It leaves you, baby, if you don't care for it. That's all we're going to do, because it's about you today, not about the song. Simon, how the devil are you, sir?
Yeah, good to be on, and thanks for having me on.
No, it's lovely to see you. And first of all, my first question always is, why did you choose that song?
Well, it's always been one of my favorite songs, but one of my first dates with my now wife, I took to Twickenham to see U2, and we stood very, very close. Very close. I mean, like within 5 yards of Bono as he sung that. We then had that song at our wedding, and then we then looked a bit more deeply into the meaning and found out it was all about divorce. But anyway.
That's so funny, isn't it? When you actually understand why they've written that song. And so many songs have been written about breakups and heartache and all that sort of malarkey. But what a great story. So was this like a first date or an early date, or was just something?
Just an early date. You know,
wow.
Stood right near the stage. Got there really early. Stood there for hours outside the stadium and got to know my now wife Cheryl a lot better. And then, you know, it's one of those dates where you can get away with not having to impress because the band are doing it for you.
Absolutely, I love it. Music is a big part of my life. So have you been to many other concerts then, Simon?
Oh, absolutely. Hundreds. Yeah.
Right. We're gonna have another show.
I can say I was lucky enough and old enough to see people like Pink Floyd. So
wow,
that was good.
All right, I'm gonna have to do a show one day as your favorite concerts or the best concerts you've been, and get loads of people in that have seen loads of concerts. That would just be heaven, chatting about those concerts. Absolutely superb. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you. We're going to find a little bit about what you do on LinkedIn, but more importantly, I have got loads of questions for you because you're a little bit of a whiz on YouTube, apparently.
Apparently so. No, it's all we really do now. I do a bit of work in the Metaverse for a few clients, but that's a whole nother ball game. But YouTube, we as an agency, we were running lots of Facebook ads for clients and finding that a lot of them were getting shut down. And some of those clients were doing hundreds of £1,000s a month through Facebook ads alone.
Wow.
And then Facebook, as people know, they can be really finicky. Account gets shut off, and then it practically puts people out of business. So we had to find another, what we'd say, a big lever for clients. I've been in Google Ads for over 20 years. I've had a Google MCC account since the very beginning, and I've loved SEO as well. So and we're going to probably go on to talk about that a little bit, but the opportunity with video now to get above everybody, just because people can't be bothered to make video. You know, you've got you here making a live broadcast, and I do quite a lot of live myself as well. But I've been saying it for years, and people know it. They just don't do it. You've got to get in front of the camera.
Yeah, no, perfect. I can't wait to talk about that. But first of all, I just want to know a little bit about what you get up to on LinkedIn. So how long have you been on LinkedIn?
Forever.
Okay.
For a long time. I started so if I go back 7 or 8 years ago, I was working for an agency and fell out with the then MD of that business and didn't really know what I was going to do. So I went and sat home in my lounge and found LinkedIn and decided I was going to have a play, right, and see what I could achieve, and started getting the odd client. I am actually one of the naughty boys of LinkedIn. And by that, I mean, I'm one of the people who started all the automation. So I've done loads of programming, and I wrote some of the very early, people are now booing from the sidelines, and probably, but I'm guilty of having written some of those programs. And I wrote the first one of those that I wrote. I sent out hundreds and hundreds of connection requests a day, because this was before you had any sort of restriction on what you could do.
Yeah.
And I think I actually gone and got a lease car so that I could go and visit all these potential new clients that I was getting. And I put like 70,000 miles on that in the first year of business. Just going to visit people I didn't convert an awful lot of them, but I did get enough to get by, right? And I did very well. And I then went on to start helping other people with LinkedIn. But the automation side of it, I had at one time over 100 clients on the automation, and then LinkedIn found me and decided to close the whole shooting match down, which was quite painful at the time. Yeah. I changed tack. I was always doing Google ads with people. That's, the SEO side, and Google ads is what I've done forever. But yeah, I was one of the LinkedIn naughty boys.
but that's opened up all kinds of other things, hasn't it? And the thing is, right, someone develops something. If we can enhance it, make it better, use it differently, then why don't we? We started off with a bit of music. Think about what Hendrix did for the guitar. Think about how some of the early pioneers of the music, I can't think who it was. I'm not sure if it was the Animals or one of the Liverpool bands, actually cut the cones in the speakers to give them a different resonance and stuff like that. Just pushing the envelope a little bit better to see how much we can make it do. They invented the car, and now they got Grand Prix and stuff like that going at breakneck speeds and trying to break the world record. So yeah, I don't think pioneer, not naughty boy.
I think the trouble is nowadays, and I sit on my LinkedIn and I get, I must have had 5 messages this morning saying, how would it feel if you could get 20 new appointments a week? I tend to reply, it would be great.
Only 20.
It would be amazing. But then it's a cost per call model, and I reply to all of those guys saying, if you can do me cost per client, because I'm pretty good at converting clients when I get them on the phone or on Zoom. But nobody obviously wants to go down that route, because you don't know where those leads are coming from, and they are getting handed round and round and round. We've all done that merry-go-round.
No, interesting stuff. So are you getting, you're creating your own content on LinkedIn at the moment? If
I'm honest, I've taken a bit of a backseat off of LinkedIn, purely because I tried really hard, and I probably do need a bit more help, because, we're all time poor, and if you're going to do a great job, I think you really almost need to be on there. You'll probably tell me differently, but you probably need to be on there 3 or 4 times a day for 15, 20 minutes and consistently engaging with conversations. And I'd probably do really well, but I don't want to get a VA doing that. And I don't want to, nobody's got your own same tone of voice. I have been shackled to some extent by some of my colleagues, because nobody really wants to let the real Simon out of the bag onto LinkedIn, because that might cause havoc. I have one of my posts was quite famous in that I put up the new rules for mobile phone usage in the office a few years ago, and the first line of it was something like, anybody caught you. It was a joke, obviously, right? But the first line was, anybody caught using their mobile phone in the office will have it confiscated for 24 hours, right? And I think I got over 1 million views on that post, just because people were like, no joke, I got accused of being a Nazi, running a concentration camp. What are you as a business leader? I wouldn't work for you. It was horrendous. But I just sat back and let all the viral comments went absolutely crazy. It was amazing. So, they don't. I'm not jackass of LinkedIn either.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. But you see, the thing is, it is all about being consistent. And we've had a conversation. I'm sure we're going to go into that as well. It is about the consistency, because so many people. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so many people start a podcast but then don't finish it. And the stats for people going for a year, and people going for 2 years, and people going for 5 years, it just drops off a cliff. And I think that's the problem.
The point at which the money really kicks in, and it's the
Yeah.
same. The same is true for YouTube. I've got clients who are making hundreds of thousands a month just off their ads, off the viewership, and without, and hopefully none of the particular ones that I'm referring to now that are watching this particular live, but some of their channels are dull as dishwater, and they're making fortunes out of, just because people are consuming this amount of video. And it is just consistency, because I've seen hundreds of my clients that have come and gone over the years start a YouTube channel. And then I always say to them, look, if you can commit to one video a week, right? And that sounds a lot. But I'll say to them, look, just once a month, a morning, film 3 or 4 videos, and then you stick them up over that month. It's the ones who start out with, oh, I'm going to do a video a day, and you can guarantee by 2 months in that they've given up completely, because it's also coming up with the content. And it's the same for all these social channels, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we keep talking about YouTube. Tell us exactly what you do on YouTube, Simon, because this is absolutely fascinating, and what you're saying. And if there's anybody watching who's got any questions about YouTube for Simon, please put them in the chat box, because Simon has a wealth of knowledge. Come on, tell us what you do, Simon, please.
So the main 2 things we do are ranking videos for clients at the top of YouTube. So I've got a live webinar tonight, which I'm teaching that, and I'm going to rank your video, right? So we're going to rank you for a phrase to be determined just after this meeting, but we'll rank you, and then that will then eventually. And the key thing is, if it gets watched and it's interesting and people engage with it, and the right audience engage with it, it will then find its way into main Google. Now, Google uses YouTube as a test bed for video content now, and it will rank your videos really quickly at the top of YouTube. And if you can get it to stick, and that's the hard bit, right? If you can get it to stick, it will get promoted into main Google, and it will go to the top of search in main Google. So it's the quickest route from an SEO perspective anyone can ever achieve to get a piece of content to number 1 on Google. It beats blogging, anything to do with on-site optimization. It beats years and years and years of work, and I can pretty much rank any video at the top of Google within 6 to 8 weeks if it's the right video and it gets the right audience. The other part of what I do is Google ads and YouTube ads. And we all know, hopefully if you've got people that are watching that watch YouTube, you'll see the ads all the time. And we run those ads. My background back in the day was I was an accountant, and I love the numbers and the data, and getting conversions through YouTube is so much easier to get a quality conversion than Facebook, because the audience profiling and targeting is unbelievably dialed in. So you can specify an audience such as, I want people that have been on a particular app or website, or even people who've been on a competitor checkout page, and I want to show my ad to them, or in other competitors' channels. So like I've got a client who came to me last week. They are a Forex training company. They're based in the US, and they want people who trade the markets. Well, we've just picked all of the apps that all those guys use. It could not be more dialed in, because nobody's using those apps who's not a trader.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
But then it comes down to the dialing in the cost per conversion. So what are those conversions? Is it to get somebody onto so it'll start with a view cost, get somebody onto the website. What does that funnel look like? Do we actually get those conversions, and what demographics do they come through from? And then continually reiterating and improving those campaigns.
That is incredible. So I'm on YouTube. All right. And I'm watching a tutorial on how to play one by U2. Okay.
Yeah.
But because I've been using this app for my Forex trading, it's going to halfway through, it's going to pop up and go, do this Forex trading. Da, 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 da. And that's how we can really dial into what we're doing.
Yeah. So that, and the fact that unless you watch 30 seconds of that advert, you don't pay. So as an advertiser, you get 29 seconds with an in-stream ad to go at that audience. So if in that example, you were watching How to Play One by U2 and this ad pops up and you go, no, skip, the advertiser pays nothing, but you've actually got an impression, you've got in front of that person.
Gone in my head. Yeah, absolutely.
And you can go a lot further than that. So a lot of the stuff we do will be, if somebody, so say you produce an advert that is, you could have an advert that's 20 minutes long if you wanted. The sweet spot tends to be about 4 minutes. Okay. But what we can also do is target the people who've watched 3/4 of it. So if somebody watches 3 minutes out of 4 minutes, and that's probably only cost you 1 or 2 pence for that to happen, we can then say, right, the people that watch 3/4 of it, we'll show them a different video next time, so we can educate people. So a lot of the stuff that people do to convert clients on the phone, you can do in a story. And by the time they get to the third video, obviously there's very few people watching that third video by that point, but they're absolutely like ready to pick the phone up and buy.
That is incredible. That is incredible. And this is not just Forex. This is across absolutely any business that our listeners or watchers are doing. So accountants, bookkeepers, candlestick makers.
There's a few industries where it's very difficult, like financial services, because making promises that are unsubstantiated, and medicines is a difficult one as well. We've had a lot of people that, they're trying to sell potions and lotions and they get pulled up on unsubstantiated claims. But anything other than that, like I've got a financial services company at the moment that they're looking to do insurance products, and they're actually making the videos that are branded to the individual towns. So, for example, I could say, hi, I'm Simon from Doncaster, and I'm your local financial advisor. That advert only gets shown in the Doncaster area, but the rest of the advert, so the other 3 minutes, 30 seconds, other than me, is generic. So I can take the same advert and put somebody else on in London, and he's from Hackney, and he's saying, like, I'm John from Hackney, and the rest of it is the same, and it's like a machine at that point.
This is absolutely incredible. So the overall thing that I'm getting from this is we need to do more video. Yeah,
we absolutely need to do a lot of video. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your top tip then for those people that go, oh, I can't stand in front of a camera?
Well, the easiest way to start is with stock footage. So you can obviously talk over stock footage, or you can do B-roll. So for example, let's say you've got a factory and you're making widgets or whatever, right? You can wander through using your iPhone. The sound is the key thing. So if you're going to record the audio, make sure you've got a really good environment, and like we're using today, decent mics, and make sure that that's the key piece. You don't have to go on camera. Obviously, it builds massive trust if you can look people in the eye, because people buy from people. So you can get actors. We do work with, some of our bigger clients will employ an actor to deliver the advert. But there's nothing like, just getting yourself on camera and going, you don't have to deliver 4 minutes in one go. So if I was going to, for example, say to somebody new, I want to make your advert, and we've scripted it up, what you might do is get them to read or know your topic. So you'd have some bullet points, freestyle it 3, 4, 5 times, as long as it takes you. And then the editor can take out the good bits and the rest of it. So say I get a good 5 to 10 second soundbite out, and then I stumble, or I'm right, that can be taken out. And then you can just put a slide in, do a bit of audio over the top of that, and carry on. And as long as the audio is all balanced up, it flows. So it's really easy. It's just knowing what to make is the hard part.
Yeah, Yeah. So again, having an agency like you, I could just record some video. And you would do everything else for me. Is that right?
Well, we could do everything for you. We've had plenty of clients where we make the ad for them, but
Wow.
the ideal scenario is you've probably already got some video footage. If you haven't, we can script it up, and there's a very prescriptive, there's a set of way of doing that. So you've got to have the calls of action in the right place. You've got to have the benefits, the testimonials, the education, and it flows then. So you can make sure that probably every 30 to 45 seconds, you're actually saying, click through, join our mailing list, or it depends what your funnel looks like. So I talk to people a lot about what their actual funnel looks like. And it's frustrating for me that a lot of people don't even do remarketing. So if you're like, I've got a client who's an e-commerce client, and they came to us, and yes, they're selling a product that's £400-500. It's an expensive product. I'm not allowed to say who because I'm under an NDA, but it's a £400-500 product. And at that point, they were only doing normal Google ads and a bit of Facebook. And their cost per acquisition was around £100 to sell a £500 product, which it's okay but you're probably having to give away at least half your margin to Facebook or whoever, or Google, right? Google will gouge you given the chance. They'll take as much, they'll take as much as they can out of your pocket, right? That's why the Google ads professionals phone you up and say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And they know nothing, those guys. Like, the number of arguments I've had with the Google ads professionals is off the scale. But when that client came to us with £100 acquisition, we plugged just a remarketing video into their funnel so that the people who'd been on their website, people who'd been on their checkout and not converted, and the people that had seen their Facebook ad got this video. The cost per conversion went down to £7, right?
From 100.
From 100, just by.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And it's astounding what you can achieve if you get it right.
Oh, that is incredible. Yeah, but you've been doing this a long time.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I still learn something every day within the Google Ads interface. There's so much to learn. We sell a course, right? So we produced a course for people to learn Google Ads and Google and YouTube ads, right? And that course, I genuinely, I'm going to blow my own trumpet.
Yeah, you carry on. I
do think it is the best course in the world, because I've taken all the big courses, the courses that are out there that cost tens of thousands of dollars. Like, I'm not going to give you the names of them, because if you go on their website, you will get remarketed to death and see certain people's faces every single day until you want to give up, right? Because that's the amount of remarketing those people are doing. We put a course together as an agency, because one of my fundamental issues with the people who provide courses is that they're not running client campaigns. So they're not walking the walk. They're just a course provider. Maybe they used to have a few clients, but what they've done is seen a massive opportunity to have a course where they can charge 10 grand and sign a bunch of people up and do millions of dollars. Good luck to them. They're doing really well. But the course that we've put together actually has got some decent knowledge in it, and it will take somebody from a very basic level all the way to an expert level, to way beyond what. I don't know any agencies out there that are doing a decent job on YouTube ads, because they all go really broad. I can set a YouTube campaign up in literally 10 minutes without a lot of thought in it. But what you need to be doing is thinking about, what are your audience doing that's different? So as an example, we had a client who was a time and attendance software specialist. And when I searched on Google for time and attendance, obviously there's 4 adverts that say time and attendance, time and attendance, time and attendance, time and attendance, right? So we wrote an ad that just said, Sarah's late for work again. Like, no bad feeling against Sarah, but we didn't know who she was, but she was late for work, right? And it made a standout advert that little bit different compared to time and attendance. Like, people are just, advertising needs to be a little bit more creative than just, ramming keywords down and then thinking, because what you can do is you can understand what times of day these people are buying, which day of the week, what age group they were in, which websites they've been on, which YouTube channel they were watching when they converted. So I do something that's called a pattern interrupt with a lot of clients. So your example earlier, you've just searched how to play One by U2. Now, let's say we were selling guitars, because maybe that's the right, that person is obviously a musician. If we word that advert correctly, we can actually do a pattern interrupt and make somebody switch from what they're watching to this new video without it seeming like an advert. And that is one of the key pieces as well, to make it so that it flows, and they don't just go, oh, go away, another ad.
So I'm there struggling because my fretboard isn't very good. And then I see this advert for this amazing guitar that makes you sound like Eric Clapton. Oh my goodness. Or even Bono, I suppose, or The Edge.
Yeah. Well, it's a fascinating, what I love is when you can get a client to say, wow, that's what drives me to get to the point where somebody's like, really? And it does take time. It is not a magic bullet, right? It takes investment in terms of time to make the video, time for campaigns to mature. So you can't just switch on the campaign. What tends to happen on Facebook is when you put a campaign up, it does really well for about a month, and then you've got to switch it out and keep switching it out and changing the ads. And Facebook are then rinsing you for budget until you really commit to a massive spend. And that can be 5-10 grand a day for some clients. Whereas YouTube, you can slowly scale it up. So you can start at £5 a day or even less. I've got a client, she's a mortgage advisor. She's on £3 a day, right? She doesn't work with us anymore because she just doesn't need to, because I set it all up for her, and she did about 3 months. But for her £3 a day, she's getting 3 to 5 leads a day, right? And that's unheard of in that industry. They pay 30, 40, 50 quid a lead to buy them from the lead sites, which are sharing those leads amongst other people. She gets her own leads. She converts probably 2 of them a day. She's making money hand over fist. And she now sees the value in making video, because she'll make video every single day. Perfect. But it takes time and effort, like everything in life, believe it or not.
Yeah, was it Arnold Palmer? The harder he worked, the luckier he got. Was that this? I think that was his quote.
Well, yeah, and one of my friends knows Kevin Keegan, and he's known him since he was a lad. And he used to see him come into a shop near Doncaster, and when he was about 12, 13, and he used to say, I'm not the best player, but I work hard. I work really hard. And apparently that's what he repeated to Bill Shankly. Like he said, I'm not the best, but he ended up as a legend. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, perfect. What a great way to end. Look, I could talk to you all day. Tell us about this webinar. How can anybody get on this webinar? Because it sounds absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, if anybody wants to, obviously my dog would like to tell you how to get on the webinar.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. No, if anybody does want the link, I'll post it in the comments below this.
Perfect. Yeah. This will stay up forever. So no, absolutely fantastic. Simon, thank you so much. I've got one more question, but before we do that, just want to quickly let everybody know who I've got coming next week. There we go. Click on here, somewhere there. I got Simon Ware coming. Steve Ware. I got Simon this week. Steve Ware's coming on next week. He's going to talk about mindfulness. He's also a public speaker, so looking forward to that. So where have you gone? Come back. Where are you?
I'm in the corner.
You're there. So my question to you, Simon, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Oh, yeah, that is an interesting one. A lot of people won't like this one, but don't lose the USB drive that you put over 100 Bitcoin on.
I love it. Nice to see you, Simon. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing your webinar this evening. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with YouTube and video. And let's get more video out there, people. Cheerio, Simon. Cheerio, everybody. Bye-bye.